Welcome back. Guys, it's Cocktails, Code, and Conversation. I am your host, David Lee. This is C3, and we are live. We are back. Man, when I tell you it's so good to be back, I missed you guys. I missed all of you. And I'm so thankful to be back. There's a lot to catch up on. So for about the next hour, we're going to have some fun. I'm going to catch you up with some things of what's been going on, both with the business side of things, both with the personal side of things, and why all of a sudden C3 just went on a month hiatus. Well, let's start off with that story. Picture this. It's the beginning of the month. It's the beginning of October. We're gonna rewind back time. It's the beginning of October. And one of the things that I've picked up in these quarantine times is bike riding, right? So got me a Trek Marlin 5. I love it. And I've been riding all over Austin. It's been absolutely fantastic. Been having a whole lot of fun with that. So it was the beginning of October. It was a month I was getting in. I was getting ready for a big week to put in some miles, and had a little bit of an accident. So I was out riding, freak accident, kind of lost control, bike skid out, and took my ankle out with it. So broken ankle, torn ligaments. Yeah, guys, it was bad. So it's been bad. Had to go to the ER, ended up having to get surgery. And I've been recovering from that ever since. I'm now able to actually, kind of sit and go through things. It's been casted up. And so it has been an ordeal. First time I've ever had surgery. First time in my life I've ever had surgery. Played football for about, 10, 12 years, never really broken a bone seriously. So this was the first time doing it. So it was a little scary. And it kind of took me out. I'm not going to lie. It took me out. Kind of underestimated how much it would do from just, managing the pain, and then the medication, guys. Number one, hydrocodone, shout out. Like, whew. When I tell you, it was one of the things that got me through from dealing with the pain, but dealing with the kind of the after effects of that. So pretty much all of the month, guys, I was out of it. So things kind of paused and shut down from a content standpoint. That we had some interviews lined up that we had to go ahead and reschedule them. I will be honest, right? I did one interview. I thought I was feeling pretty good. A couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm managing the pain a little bit. I think I can kind of get through this. I can ride the kind of hydrocodone waves of like euphoria. Like, I think I got this. And yeah, totally did. Recorded it. I don't even remember downloading it, guys. It's just, it's crazy. It's been a blur. But for those that did know, thanks for all the kind words, for reaching out. It has been an interesting ordeal. Like, this is 2020, right? So, but I'm on the mend. I am on the mend. 2 weeks away from getting off the hard cast, and I'll go into a walking boot. But definitely gonna have some rehab ahead of me to kind of work getting the ankle back. And from now on, I'll be able to tell the weather a lot early. Got a couple screws and plates in there. But all things being considered, I'm healthy, I'm safe. Back at it. Have the podcast. As you can see, as you step into the domain now, rearrange some things in the office, kind of get a nice, better background there. I see some of the XM comics, some of the books that I've read. Switch those up here and there. So it's just been fantastic to be back, and now talking with you all and spending this time with you. And so I've done a couple of lives in the past. And so the cool thing about kind of being out and just kind of being laid up, right? So for the past 4 weeks, I've just, been with my foot elevated, not really able to do a whole lot. Is I had a chance to do some thinking and start planning and putting some things in motion. And so one of those things is this right here, the live podcast. We're going to start doing these a lot more. You're still going to have the regular interviews. That's not going away. Getting those queued up, and those are going to be coming at you. But I'm going to start doing these a little bit more, trying to figure out exactly what day. Obviously, Wednesdays are the days that the podcast drop. Wednesday morning for all my C3 squad members. You guys know what it is. You get the email, you subscribe, when the new pods come out. So I don't know if I'm going to do it on Wednesdays. I've been playing with the idea of doing like the normal pod Wednesday morning and doing this Wednesday afternoon C3 live. But we'll see. But definitely, we're going to be doing more live of these. And this is going to be me just kind of going over some things. And this is your chance to interact with me, right? Instead of listening to the interviews, which I know you love. This will be live both on Twitter. So right now it's streaming to our Cocktails, Code, and Conversation Twitter account. So make sure you are following that also, as well as the YouTube channel. So this is your chance that you can tune into this, ask questions, interact. And if you even want to be a guest on a live show, hit me up. Let me know in the chat, or you can DM in. We can plan for that. You can join in on the stream, have some conversations with me as we talk about some things here. So that's the first major update, guys. I am recovering, but the ankle is doing well, and we're moving on to the next thing. The other exciting news. Now, guys, we're going to be having some sponsorships, right? Sponsorships are coming to the On the Corner Podcast Network. As you guys know, about a month ago, actually, wow, more than 2 months ago, time flies. In June, over the summer, moved Cocktails and Code and Conversation to the On the Corner Podcast Network. On the Corner Media Group is the media group that I've co-founded, and we launched not only Cocktails, Code and Conversations, but we also launched All Mixed Up. So that podcast is out there. You can check it out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we've got one more Open Door Conversations that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We've been steady just kind of creating content. And so now we're starting to bring some sponsorships to the podcast network. So you'll be seeing sponsors coming in on this podcast. Got some today for the live podcast. We're going to be giving some shout out to some Black-owned business owners. So get ready, because we're going to be doing that a lot more and kind of bringing that in. So guys, we're maturing, we're growing both as a company and as a podcast. So this is just some really exciting stuff. And of course, I want to share that with all of you. Next update we got coming up. There is new merchandise coming to the C3 store. Now, for all my C3 Squad members, I know you've already been to the C3 store, right? I know you've already ordered your official C3 Squad merch because you're part of the squad. You follow. You're on the podcast all the time. Canada, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, Canada. There is some new merch coming to the C3 store. I've just ordered some samples. So we're going to be getting those here in the next, probably week or so, and looking at that and putting those up to the store. So because of that, I'm going to be running a special for the month of November. Obviously, if you join the C3 Squad, you get discounts already off of any merchandise that's on there. But I'm going to do something a little bit extra, right? So C3 Squad members, don't worry. You're always going to get your discount. Matter of fact, I think I might bump it up a little bit just for that. But for everybody now, I'm going to be giving out a discount code on the website. I'll get it at the end of this pod. A discount code for merchandise, so you can start going and grab your C3 gear, and then you'll get a chance to look at the new gear probably coming in about 2 weeks, right? So like I said, just order some samples. Gonna get that in. We got some new merch coming, and then the next thing we're gonna be doing is C3 Day. Is going to be the last Wednesday of this month. So if you do not have your C3 Squad gear, I need you to get it, because here's what C3 Day is. So I want you to do. For everybody that's ordered your C3 Squad shirt, you gonna get it? I want you to take a picture, take a nice selfie. We're gonna post it on social media on that day, the last Wednesday of November. We are gonna flood social media with all of our C3 Squad pictures. Let the world know that the C3 Squad is here and what it's all about. I'm so excited and looking forward to this. I've been talking to some of the C3 Squad members, and they've been loving the shirt so far and saying, and I've said, hold on, don't take any pictures yet. But I've been planning this for a while now. So it's going to be the last Wednesday of this month. Here, let me give you a good solid date. For those of you who are like, okay, that's a great day, but what day is that? I need a date. It is Wednesday the 25th, the day before Thanksgiving. Right? You can't forget that. It's the day before Thanksgiving, right? So right before you go get your grub on, right? And you get the cranberry sauce and the turkey gravy all over your C3 Squad shirt on Wednesday. Snap a picture. We're going to be posting that all over social media. Can't wait to see all the C3 Squad members and everywhere there are. Canada, I'm looking at you. I'm calling you out, Canada. Now, the listenership in Canada has been growing like crazy over the past couple of months. It's been exciting to see. Thank you so much for listening. So I want to see some pictures coming in on C3 Day, Wednesday, 25th of November. I want to see some pictures coming in from Canada with you and your C3 gear. So looking forward to that. So those are the updates for now. We've got some more coming, guys. I'm not done yet. There's more updates coming, but I just wanted to start there. Let's get into what's going on in the world of identity and access management, just a little bit, right? We'll address November 3rd a little bit later, right? And I'll finish. Look, it's been a very important day, very important couple of days in the United States of what's going on with the elections. I'll get into that a little bit later, right? I want to save, the kind of the political talk. This is not really what this podcast is about, but we're always going to address things that the elephants in the room, right? We're going to address them. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. We'll kind of get into that and just want to give you a break. This is a chance to kind of take a break, get away from all that, have some fun, talk about some other cool stuff, which is, identity access management. And specifically on this one, we're going to talk about data privacy, right? So I was going to get into the election stuff a little bit, because one of the things that came out of the election process was Proposition 24 out of California. And this was pretty big. And I was actually, I was going to say I was surprised I didn't hear much about it, but I've been in a hydrocodone like fog for the last month, so I probably just missed it. But I'm very interested that I did see it kind of coming through the news cycles and things that I follow, and talking about the world of identity and security, and data privacy is kind of not in there, but it really is, because it's kind of adjacent to it. But so Proposition 24 coming out of California is an expansion to some of the legislation that California has passed, and when it comes to consumer and data privacy. Now, I've downloaded the actual, full legislation amendment. It's 53 pages. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I read all 53 pages. I haven't yet, but I will, because this is very interesting. I've been following what California has been doing with consumer privacy for a while, because I believe they are going to kind of lead the pack in what we see as far as data privacy regulations here within the United States. If you go back to previous podcast at the beginning of the year, I sat down with my buddy Lynn Williams, and we kind of talked about what Texas was doing, as he was part of the group that was kind of helping guide the legislation of what Texas was going to do as far as data privacy. But we have a bunch of different states kind of all working on their legislation, and California has kind of been out in the forefront because they've been first. And so some of the things, just really quickly, that I want to bring up that I saw as I was going through this that I thought was interesting was some of the wording that's coming out of it. So I will, let's get a link to, I don't know if you guys are going to want to read the entire thing like I am. I am a nerd. I love this stuff. So I love reading the entire, just the entire thing. But I'm going to send you here. Pop this link up on the stream real quick. California. All right, there we go. So right there, there's a link there that'll tell you about California Proposition 24. Pulls up the ballot measure. If you scroll down to 24, it kind of gives you some highlights of it. And let's jump in the beginning. So the biggest thing with this amendment, it's going to amend the consumer privacy laws, is number one, it's going to prevent businesses from sharing personal information. Correct inaccurate personal information, and limit businesses' use of sensitive personal information. And that's kind of the first thing that pops up to me, because it literally has sensitive personal information in quotes. And so the security analyst in me comes out and says, okay, well, but what is sensitive, right? How do we define what sensitive personal information is? Because these are the things that we're going to have to start building systems for. Now, it does give examples. So it says such as precise geolocation, race, ethnicity, religion, genetic data, union membership, private communications, certain sexual orientation, health, and biometric information. These are examples that they're tagging as sensitive personal information. It's going to change criteria for which businesses must comply with these laws. Triples the maximum penalties for violations concerning consumers under age 16. That's another big thing that I read and starts to address, is that how parents can start to manage the data privacy laws for minors, right? Because a lot of things are, let's just face it, right? These applications and the way that we go about the internet, it's such an easier time, and a lot of kids, they just grow up with this, right? So from the time they're crawling around, if they got a phone, they got a pad in their hands, they're able to go and download applications, do different things, and so they're not really aware of the data that they're giving, right? They just know that this thing is free. I want to go use it. I want to be able to do some stuff, but what data is it doing? What is it collecting? And so the ability to help parents kind of control what data is being collected on their children, right? So that's another thing that's kind of big, that kind of comes up in this proposition, this amendment to the consumer privacy laws in California. The other thing that I thought was very interesting, that is, establishes the California Privacy Protection Agency to enforce and implement consumer privacy laws and oppose administrative fines. Requires adoptions of substantive regulations, summary of estimate by legislative analysis, and director of finance of fiscal impact on state and local governments. The increased annual state cost of roughly $10 million for a new state agency to monitor compliance and enforcement of consumer privacy laws. And so here's the big one, right? This one's bolded out. A new state agency to monitor compliance and enforcement of consumer privacy laws. For those of us who have been in this identity and access management or this cybersecurity realm for any amount of time, we all know, right, that nothing takes place, no action really happens until there's a stick, until there's laws and compliance and real fines that come down that forces organizations to move and to act. And so the biggest thing with this that I see is establishing this agency now, establishing this stick to now say, hey, we are going to enforce this and come after you. This is now something as a compliance standard you're going to have to meet, companies, right? And so this is very interesting to see how the next, kind of 18 to 24 months, as this starts to settle and California starts to implement this, what kind of effect this starts to have downstream on other states as they start to look at their legislation. As we start to talk about, are we going to have a overall, kind of federal legislation? Because if you're a company right now, if you're a business and you're thinking about this, like, okay, I've got all my consumers, I've got all my customers that log in and interact with me. And right now, I've got all my customers that come from California, right? Now I've got to separate and understand, okay, if you're California, here are the things that I need to do specifically for you. Now imagine if now it's, oh yeah, by the way, Texas, or maybe Illinois, and then Michigan, Wisconsin, so forth and so on. If every time a customer hits my application, hits my website, I need to all of a sudden implement a different set of procedures based on who you are and where you're coming from. Now, for my identity experts, that the seat's going to start getting hot a little bit, because you start to think, okay, well, all right, well, I just got to be able to know who you are and where you're coming from. And then it's like, are you a California native, right? Or are you just visiting California? You're just coming from an IP address that's in California, or do I live in California and abide by those laws, right? So now it starts to get, a little complicated as you start to develop these systems and think about how we're going to go ahead and meet these compliance standards. And some of the things that I want to read a little bit of paragraph from the section that covers the right for consumers to request the deletion of their data, because I think this is interesting as well. So a business that receives a verifiable consumer request from a consumer to delete the consumer's personal information pursuant to subdivision A. Now, a lot of talking there, but I want to back up. So a business that receives a verifiable consumer request, boom, right? Now we're scared. A verifiable consumer request. So, which means what? I need to verify that this consumer who's requesting for this is actually who they say they are. Back to authentication, right? Back to the basics with this stuff that we're talking about, identity and security all the time, right? How do I strongly authenticate and know that you are who you say you are? Because, right, if I don't properly authenticate you, because you got to be a verifiable consumer request to go and delete this personal information data. But it gets better. Now, of this section, so delete the consumer's personal information from its records and notify any service providers or contractors to delete the consumer's personal information from their records, and notify all third parties to whom the business has sold or shared such personal information to delete that information. Right now, that is very interesting, and I'll be honest. I didn't do a lot of digging into the original CCPA Act that came out of California, so I don't know if that connection was always there. It looks like this is amending to that and adding that, which means a couple of things. Not only do I need to know who my customer is, right? I need to be able to securely authenticate and know who my customer is. I also need to manage the relationship of myself to that customer, their data, and the partners and everybody that has access to that data. Right? I've got to manage and maintain that chain, because at any time this customer can come and say, hey, I want you to delete my data. So I have to say, yes, I'll delete your data, customer. John Doe, thank you so much for requesting. I'll delete your data. But now I need to know, okay, well, who had access to John Doe's data? Right? What contractors, what contractors, what are suppliers, right? Because I need to let them know they need to delete the data. And then I need to notify whoever I sold it to. Right? So if I'm in a business of selling that data, I got to go let them know, oh, hey, guess what? By the way, John Doe requested to delete his data, so I deleted it. I need you to delete it as well. That chain, that logistic chain is going to be interesting, right? Because what happens when that third party that you sold it to then sold it to another third party and they no longer have it, right? It's going to get very interesting to see the implementation of this, and also the enforcement of these type of things, and how we're going to build systems to manage it. Now, for me, I get excited because I'm like, this is great. These are challenges, new challenges that we need to go and solve, and starts to bring back these conversations around that we've been having around identity being at the center, right? This all comes back to understanding how we authenticate somebody, How do we know who somebody is? And tying them to, now we know we've heard this a lot on the workforce side of identity, right? Tying them to their entitlements. But on the consumer side, it's not about entitlements, it's tying them to their data and the relationships to that data, right? On the workforce side, we've always been worrying about, like, how do I tie this workforce user to their entitlements and a relationship to those entitlements? Meaning David has access to this AD group, this LDAP group, this Unix group, this AWS resource. Then in turn, what does that give him access to? What does that really mean? What does AD group 125 actually give David access to? Oh, the production servers to go and log in and change this or change X. We were always fighting that battle of understanding the relationships of entitlements to users in the workforce. Well, guess what? We now have that same battle on the consumer side, but now we need to understand the relationships of our consumer to their data and then who we gave access to that data. Very interesting and very challenging indeed. So I'm very curious, like I said, to see how this plays out, to see what kind of further legislation this rolls downhill in other states, to start to get into some of these conversations of how we are going to address these things. How are we going to build systems to allow businesses to do this, right? So, for you identity aficionados like me, you security aficionados, man, bunch of good challenges coming, right? And for you customers out there, right? So for customers who are looking at this and saying, man, this is yet another thing I'm going to have to look at and manage. Now's the time to start having these conversations with your vendors, right? Now's the time to pull them in and say, hey, I'm looking at my long-term strategic plan. This is going to affect me tomorrow, but in the next 18 to 24 months, I'm going to have to deal with this. What are your solutions? What are you looking at? What are you doing to kind of help me transition to handle these sort of things? Now's the time to start having those conversations with those vendors. Because trust me, you don't want to wait until, right, the CCPA, the CCPA enforcement agency is sending you that nice little email letting you know you got to write a nice fat check, because we don't like writing those checks. So interesting times indeed. That proposition did pass in California. So again, it's going to be interesting to see how this rolls out, to see what repercussions comes out of this. So interesting stuff, very interesting stuff. So we're going to take a break, kind of back out from that, and we're going to jump to our first sponsor of the day. Yes, like I said, guys, we have sponsors. I'm so excited about this. And the first sponsor today coming up is Bronzeville Watch Company. Now, Bronzeville Watch Company, so I'm going to share it to the screen here. I'm going to spotlight them. Bronzeville Watch Company is a small business based out of Chicago, Illinois, and it's named after a historically Black neighborhood in Chicago called Bronzeville. Now, they make custom watches. I've had the privilege of meeting the owners back in February, way back in time when we can actually go outside and be around people. I had a chance to meet with them and just kind of talk to them about their vision and what they had. I absolutely love their watches. If you're a watch person like me, you are going to love these watches. Just the detail of it, the look of it, really do enjoy it. So please check them out, Bronzeville Watch Company. And to show you guys what it actually looks like. So you got the website there, check it out. Here it is, a Bronzeville watch. Here's mine that I have. Absolutely love this watch. Nice little case that it comes in that you can kind of show off. So this definitely sits in my watch capital. So please check them out. Bronzeville Watch Company. Tell them C3 sent you. You're not going to get a discount, but just let them know if that's how you found out about it. And go get yourself a watch. Be well dressed. Be on time. Bronzeville Watch Company. Check them out. All right. Now, man, back into the world of identity access management. So data privacy is going to be a thing, right? And I think we've said that for a while now. We've been kind of slowly talking about it. And we've seen organizations, we've seen vendors kind of hint at it and start to talk about it. We've seen some upstarts kind of talk about, different things and offer different products to market to do this. One of the areas where I think that we really need to up the conversation is going to be around self-sovereign identity when it comes to this. Because as I'm reading this Proposition 24, right, it's basically just stating that, hey, the consumer has the right to say, here's my data, here's what I want to share, and I'm in control of what data I share with you, when I share it, and how it gets shared, right? So to do that, I really think the customer needs to own their identity and be able to easily say, here, business, application, whatever, here's what I want to share with you, right? And I need to be able to control and remove your access to that data at any given time. Right now, what we're doing is saying we're going to make the business, we put the onus on the business to make that available to the consumer. But let's think about how that scales out, right? So first of all, every business has to do that and say, okay, you can come, you can log in, you can access your account, you can request, and you can see all this information. I can tell you all the information that I'm sharing it with. But now we're asking the consumer to do that for every single business application that they interact with. That's a lot, right? And this is something that I've had conversations with, the last probably 2 years with different experts in the field, is that, are we putting too much onus on the user, right? We're expecting them to manage and do all these things and make up for, quite frankly, our lack of design and our lack of thought to make this a better experience for them. And so I really think this self-sovereign identity conversation has to kind of come to the forefront, because if we look at this, we're going to need to start building systems that allow, individuals to define possibly and control and manage their own identity. Now, that gets a little scary, right? Like, define their own identity. Well, that means that, how do we know it's verified? How do we know what's true, right? These are all questions that I don't have the answer to, but I think these are the ones that we need to dig into and figure that out, right? How do we set up a standard to where we can say, all right, digitally, this is who this person is. This has been verified by what? A local government, a bank, whatever attributes are going to verify, that they can then say, all right, I'm going to take this, and this is how I'm going to go and interact with different applications, with different businesses. So that way I can set the controls of the data that they are allowed to use. Right. Another kind of tidbit that was in the reading of the Proposition 24 was that actually I want to pull it up because I want to quote this directly. I don't want to misquote it. So give me 1 second. Let's see if we can find it. But it was basically around the consumers should have the ability to share in the use of their data. Oh man, I should have highlighted it and I didn't. Okay. I won't make you bear with me as I go and look for it, but I will go back and find that. But it was very interesting, that proposition, that basically it was saying that consumers should be able to basically share in the profits that these businesses are taking off of their data, right? Some kind of connection there, right? So don't quote me on that because I want to go find it exactly, but that's interesting, right? That's very interesting. So again, I am fascinated by this legislation. I'm fascinated by what's going to happen with this. I think it's drastically going to change how we build applications, how we look to interact with our users. And so I'm excited to see some of the things that come out of it, right? Because this means innovation. This means more challenges. And now the stick is coming behind it, right? That there is definitely going to be some punishment coming down, that we're going to have to look at this and go, hey, these are things that we're definitely going to have to solve. So good stuff there. What else? Drawing a blank, guys. Man. I was so excited. I had all these things set down. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't, because I don't write stuff down. Why not? Next up, things I want to talk about, more updates for what's happening with the organization. So On the Corner Media Group, like I said, guys, is the media group that now kind of runs and handles this podcast for C3 On the Corner. And one of the things that you guys all know that I have been kind of passionate about and talking about is, diversity and inclusion in the tech field, specifically in the cybersecurity field. And so one of the things that we decided On the Corner, what we want to do is start to press and kind of make the change and put things out there that we can do to kind of help, right? So today, the official announcement is that On the Corner will be creating a scholarship for IT and cybersecurity professionals. So any minority or woman that's looking to get into the IT or cybersecurity field, we're going to be doing a scholarship to where we will offer, it's going to be three rewards. The first place recipient will receive a full year access to Coursera on us. We will pay for it, where you can have access to IT programs, training programs, get certificates. There's some cybersecurity ones on there as well. The second and third place recipients will receive 6 months to Coursera, again, on us, on the corner. And we want to give this out to minorities, women looking to get into the industry as we try and create ways to make it easier for you to get in. And one of the things I will say that I love about the cybersecurity industry, well, obviously, number one, it's provided a fantastic life for myself. This has been, I've had a chance to live a life that, for somebody like me coming where I came from, I never thought I would be able to do unless I was an athlete, right? Now, don't get it twisted. I don't make LeBron James money, but I've made some really good money. I've done some really cool things. I've traveled the world. I've seen places I never thought I would see. I've done things. I've spoken on stages. It's been fantastic, right? And all this was made possible because I was able to get into a field in cybersecurity and do things that I'm interested in, love. And I think these are some of the things that more minorities need to see, right? I didn't have anybody that looked like me growing up that made me want to get into this. It was just, I knew I liked computers and I wanted to learn more about it. And part of the way that we can start to increase the numbers of diversity is, number one, let people know that, yes, there are people out there that look like you that are in this field, and make the way easier, right? Not everybody's going to want to go to college and do that, and you don't have to, right? There's certificate programs out there. There's things out there, and money shouldn't be a factor to stop you from doing it. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do and put the scholarship together. So we will be announcing all of the details on our website at onthecorner.us. So please check that out. That'll be coming in the next couple of days. But I'm super excited to announce this and get this going. Can't wait to just spread the word with this and get as many applicants as possible. And we're gonna this is gonna be the first one, and there's gonna be more. We're gonna keep it going. We're in talks to kind of do more, and maybe something like every quarter. Pay for somebody's exam or something of that nature, but we wanted to start somewhere, so we wanted to start with this. So again, the On the Corner Scholarship is going to be coming from the On the Corner Media Group. It's geared towards minorities and women looking to get into the IT and cybersecurity field, right? The application details will be on the website here soon. First place prize is you will get a full year access to Coursera completely on us. We will pay for all of that for you to get you access to the training that you need to start to learn the skills that you want to get into the IT or cybersecurity field. Second and third place recipients will get 6 months, half a year, again, on us. And this is just our way of providing back to the community and starting to spread some good and positivity. One of the things that I think we desperately need right now, guys, obviously, things are emotional. Things are a little crazy right now. And so one of the things that we can always do to combat that is just to reach out a hand and help. And so this is one of the ways that we want to start giving back to the community and reaching out and helping. So please check out the website. More deals are going to be coming soon. It's not up right now. I know you're probably going and saying, oh, let me go check it out. For those of you that listen to this on the replay, by the time you hear this, it should be up. So head out to onthecorner.us. It'll be there on the main page, and then you'll have information about how to apply, what the application requirements are, and all those things. We're working on those right now and getting out. But I was super excited and just wanted to get out and tell you guys about it right now. So that's what I did. So I'm telling you now. But we'll have all the details coming soon. So I told you guys had a lot of updates. I told, even though I was out of it, right? So even though I was out of it, laid up, having to elevate my ankle and coming in and out of a hydrocodone fog, I was thinking, I was grinding. I was thinking about some of the things that we wanted to do, how to continue to make this better, make this content better for you guys. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what's coming up, some of the interviews and some of the topics that we're going to be coming up in some of the next episodes. We're going to be jumping into the area of sales. As I've been having the conversation for diversity and inclusion, if for all my longtime listeners, if you remember, I had a conversation with Larry Whiteside. We talked about how we talk about diversity and inclusion, and just diversity in general within the cybersecurity field. One of the areas is sales, right? And you don't see a lot of diversity there. So that kept sitting with me. I was like, let's talk about this and dig in. So I've got some sales leaders coming up that I'm going to be interviewing and talking to as we talk about what it's like to be on that side. And also, I think it's just good that we talk about that, right? I think there's just always been this engineer versus sales person kind of battle, right? I will admit, coming up as an engineer, I could not stand salespeople. As I've gotten older and moved on, I start to understand the process. So we're going to be having those conversations. We're going to be talking about that. This data privacy issue is not going to go away. So I'm going to be having some more guests as we start to dig into that a little bit more about some of the data privacy issues. Like I said, going to be doing more live pods. So thanks for joining in. Feel free to jump in and chat with me on this, guys. Call me out on things that you see. Hold on. We've got a message coming in from Matt Topper. Can we double that offering of scholarship? Move it to the top 6 candidates. Let's talk about it, Matt. I am down to double it. What it comes down to is finances, right? On the Corner is not rolling in it, but yeah, definitely down to double that and go to 6. Let's talk about it. If you want to jump in and co-sponsor that, we'd love to have you. So let's talk about that. Matter of fact, you know what, Matt? You did it. You called me out live on the show. We're going to do it. We're going to double it. We're going to double it to 6 candidates, just like that, because we're just going to take action. It needs to get done. So you guys are seeing it live here on the pod. An update to the On the Corner Scholarship. We're going to go from 3 to 6. And Matt Topper of Uber Ether will help sponsor. Matt, appreciate it. Thank you so much. So shout out to Uber Ether for volunteering to do that. And so this is going to be awesome. Guys, just like that. Look, this is I'm going to rant a little bit. So you guys get ready, get comfortable. This is what it's all about, though, right? This is what it's all about. This is when you decide to take action for good, for people, just doing the right thing, right? You just go and do it. So, Matt, I appreciate you. Thanks for the challenge, man. Thanks for the challenge and pushing me to step up and go to 6. So we're going to do the skits. Appreciate you coming in and help co-sponsor, and we're going to get this done. So there you guys have it. The On the Corner Scholarship, co-sponsored by Uber Ether. We are going to be handing out 6. The 6 candidates will receive fully paid for access to Coursera to go and get yourself some certificates, some courses. I will work it out with Matt and the rest of my organization as we'll figure out how we'll do it. So if we go from 3 to 6, maybe we'll do the top 3 get full year, and then 4, 5, and 6 get six months. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But the good news is what you're going to get is you will be able to get access to the training that you need to start your career to get into the IT or cybersecurity field. That's what it's all about. So boom, making change live. Appreciate you, Matt. Thanks so much. We're going to get to that. So what else do we have going on? Man, this has been a great live. Just imagine what the rest of these are going to be like. All right. Lost my train of thought there for a second. Once again, talked about the updates that's coming on with the organization. Format changes, what's coming up. We're going to be talking about data privacy, starting to get it back. We're going to be talking about sales and diversity in sales. And then we're going to start to expand the conversations a little bit more. And just kind of talk about some things of innovation and what we can start doing and how we can start looking both in the cybersecurity industry and the identity industry and making some changes and what things need to look like going forward. So those are the topics I've got planned. I've got some great guests lined up for you. And of course, I've got some sponsorships like this one right here. All right, next sponsorship coming up, Noonie Poo Cake Boutique. Let me tell you guys about this one, right? Now, this is specifically for my California listeners. I know, Canada, you're upset. I'm sorry. But if you are listening and you're from the great state of California, specifically Southern California, you need to know about Noonie Poo Cake Boutique, because when I tell you, it is going to be the best cake that you have ever tasted in your life. No hyperbole. Like, it is that. So let's pull it up right here. I'm going to pull up her Instagram so we can take a look at it, spotlight it, put it on the pod. Noonie Poo Cake Boutique makes custom cakes, right? Delivered there, mostly down in Southern California. But when I tell you these cakes are delicious and the creativity on these cakes, let's take a look at them. She's got some alcohol-infused cakes. So this is run by a good friend of mine, Danielle Edwards, business owner. She's been doing this for years now. She started with cupcakes, has grown to cakes. And man, the story that I have to tell you guys about this. So her and I went to high school together, right? Grew up in Southern California. I was home visiting and I saw that she had a cupcake business. And so one of the things that I love to do is I want to support. I was like, okay, yeah, let's support. Let me order some cupcakes from you. Ordered some strawberry cupcakes. Man, when I tell you guys, these cupcakes were and I'm not a person that likes super sweet things, right? So I was kind of like, oh, I'll order them because I want to support. Oh, buttercream as it pops up. When I tell you she makes the best buttercream icing ever, like it's crazy. So she makes these strawberry cupcakes, gets it with like a nice strawberry icing topping. I get them home. It's me, my mom, and my sister. So I'm home in California. Literally, we destroyed these things. Like, it was the best cupcakes I ever tasted. They were moist, they were sweet, but not too sweet. The icing was perfect, and it was just fantastic. And we have been fans of hers ever since. She has grown since then to do cakes. And so you're seeing some of them right now. She can do custom cakes, right? She does the cupcakes. So if you're in Southern California, check out our Instagram page, Noonie Cake Boutique. Tell her David sent you. Tell her the C3 podcast sent you. And trust me, any next event that you're doing, like we're coming up on the holidays, right? You want to have a cake, you want to order a Noonie Poo cake, because I'm telling you, you will never forget it. Best thing you ever tasted in your life. So shout out to Danielle Edwards and Noonie Poo Cake Boutique. Try saying that 3 times fast. Clearly, you see that I can't say it, but trust me, it's worth it. You will not regret it. All right. Enough of the sponsorships. It's our last one. And I know for those of you listeners, like, oh my gosh, these sponsorships. Yes, there's going to be more because we're growing as an organization, growing as a company, and I love it. Spreading all this positivity, spreading this love. Guys, that's going to wrap it up today. That was really it. You know what? The main point of this is I wanted to get back. I wanted to let you guys know the C3 is back. We're going to be coming back at you. Updates to the C3 merchandise store are coming. Please make sure you check that out. I told you guys you were going to get a code, so you're going to get the code right now. I'm going to let you know what the code is. Let's put it in there. Promo code. Boom, boom. There you go. Promo code C3 Live. So for the rest of the month, when you go to the C3 merch store, go through, look for what you want. Use that promo code C3 Live, and you will get 20% off your order. Yes, the rest of the month, 20% off your order. Save that promo code. That shall be live later tonight as well. I get that put in. But new merchandise is coming to the merch store. So if you're not on the C3 squad, you need to make sure you go join it for the C3 squad right now so you can get to the newsletter. You can get your discounts on merch. But if you don't want to join the C3 squad, and you're like, look, I just like listening, subscribing, but I like getting discounts on merch. There's the promo code C3 Live, all one word. That'll be live tomorrow for you to go and get yourself some C3 merch, and then be on the lookout for the new merch that is coming. C3 Live Day, C3 Day, Wednesday, 25th November. Make sure you take a picture of you and your C3 squad, paraphernalia, your merch, put it on social medias. We're going to flood the internet with all the C3 squad members. Canada, I'm looking at you. Stand up. I expect to see some pictures coming in from Canada. It has been great being back with you guys. I'm going to sign off. This has been fantastic. Matt, Topper, Uber, Ether, you were the man. Thank you so much for co-sponsoring. I'll be talking with you soon. The On the Corner Scholarships, where you're going to be providing 6 participants, fully paid access to go to Coursera.org and get the information that you need, get the certificates that you need to start your IT or cybersecurity career, because this is what we do. We give back. So you guys know what it is. To the next cocktail, to the next conversation, stay safe, spread love. We'll see you guys soon.